Hi, Grandpa Butler, and glad you could join us today for another short watercolor. These are on 6x9 watercolor papers where we do three-stage procedure to draw an object, color it with our watercolor crayons, and then wipe it with a brush, wet brush, to bring out the colors, and then do a background. So this one is going to be a brown-headed cowbird, which is common in the West, and it likes to come in and lay its eggs in other birds' nests, and have those other birds raise their birds for them. So first stage here, we've sort of sketched out the cowbird here, and so we're going to, given our rough sketch here, we're going to follow through and see if we can get it here. This is kind of right, art is to have fun, and that's what we're working on here, is having fun together. I want my grandchildren and friends, colleagues to know how much I love them and hope they're having fun in their lives as well. So what we're doing here is we're drawing in some of the outlines of the feathers, and as well we are marking off where there's a color change in the photographs I'm working from. In this case here. Okay. So this eye is a little bit above the beak there, like so, and has a lovely brown head, and we'll try and get that in a second here. This brown-headed cowbird is sitting on a branch here with his tentacles, claws, whatever they're called, wrapped around the branch there. I think with a cowbird you could say it's a parasite, right? But there are lots of lovely parasites in the world, including the Indian paintbrush, to have a lot of around here, and it's quite lovely. It's a plant, beautiful red plant. It has its lines going down, roots going down and tapping into the roots of other plants when it can. Okay, so we've kind of got the basic outlines here. We'll come back later on and touch it up. So stage one is kind of done. What we're going to do here is erase it, and then we'll put in our color for our bird. It's kind of dark brown on top, brown, well, not so dark maybe, but so, and then kind of dark blue, gray, black, elsewhere. So get his head in here, and we'll do that with a couple colors here, and maybe we'll put in, borrow a little bit of that here for his bill here. Or a little bit of yellow-brown for his eye. And we'll come back and do some of his head here, because it's mostly a kind of brown color, and we'll bring that, stroke that down back into there when we get a paintbrush on him. Now what we're going to do is, there's a lot of beautiful blues showing through on this photograph here, his feathers, and other than that it's kind of black. and so I'm going to do that blue-black thing here with our crayons here. And notice that we're not just coloring sideways, up and down, any which way, but we're trying to color sort of in the direction that our bird is feathers are lying, and so I'll do that. There's a little bit of sheen to their legs, so we'll put that in there for that. So I continue to color with my blues like that, but there's also it's also very dark, and so around here we'll go up and down like we did color in junior high school, and then we'll come back here and put some darker colors in the underside mostly. Should have maybe tried a dark red with the blue. Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe I'll do that on the next drawing. Let me get a color like this. That would be fun. And we'll mix those up a little bit there. And then we have the branch here, which is sitting on, which is going to be a typical Western dead twig sitting out from a tree here, and it'll have some kind of fun parts where worms have worked their way in, probably helped kill it, but they're insects, and on the underside there a little bit of color. So we're substantially done with that. Now we're going to get out our brush here. Any watercolor brush will do. I find that this one just works very conveniently for doing this when I'm hiking in the mountains, bringing it along, sitting down, and doing this stuff, doing quick paintings up there. And get our bird in here. And so I should call this the impressionistic watercolorings of Grandpa Butler, right? That would give me an excuse really to paint outside of the line instead of blaming it on my neuropathy. Okay, and the head, oh, that's okay. Maybe we needed more red, but that's all right. And we got a darker brown, we're working it in there. Dip my thing, my brush come down here, and we have our collar here. Well, there are some of these hues in the photograph, but there's more dark than I'm putting in here, but I'm not feeling the need to go back and make it any less wonderful. But let's do something as an experiment. Life is experiments, having fun. So here's some crimson and a dark red. We'll put some of that in here, down here, and see if that tones down the. Well, let's come back here with our, spread that out a little bit. Gives it a little darker view, huh? That blue and red equals black kind of thing. Okay, so I like that. And even if it didn't turn out so well, I'd probably like that as well. Notice that I'm not worried about getting rid of all the pigment here. In fact, I generally, except in ocean and sky scenes, like to leave behind as an indication of life. All right. our bird to have life. Okay, so this is interesting here. When did I do this? So what if I go up and do that to it? Okay, you can tell all of this is real time here. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to put some background. So we've got the first and second stage. And the kind of background I've chosen is sort of kind of the cliffy backgrounds that we enjoy in so many of our Western landscapes here. So I'm coming down here, and there's some cliffy-like things here. I come up over here, and this dark blue here is where we have shade here, and a lot of it is in the right. Sunset can be all kinds of colors, yellows, orange, reds. But for today I'm going to kind of choose some pinks to come in here. Yes, that's right. Come down here with some pink tones here as the sun comes out from the left. Get them on the top of there, and as we come down the hill, and we're going to have that coming into some trees. So on both sides, so let me finish getting that in, get the trees up, and get it all colored in, and we'll call it good. So far I think we're doing okay. To sort of define where all those trees, where they're popping up from, little valley just beyond out of reach. What we're going to do here is we're going to put in some little bit of a hillside there, and a little bit of hillside over here coming down. And consistent with our other stuff above, we'll make that our pink, except where there's trees, and there'll be fir trees. Maybe Douglas firs. And we've got a lot of those around here. He said as he reached out for his green, which he didn't see and should note. And there's my greens coming down here. And down here. Just above that branch. So see if we can pull some of that pink into there. Okay. One of the things that Grandpa loves is green trees, but when you have a forest of firs or pines, you can spend literally hours drawing the trees, and those aren't very satisfactory. So I like doing these watercolor crayons because for me it kind of speeds up the process, makes the trees look reasonably alive. And so I'm going to put some sort of other green in here to distinguish as we come along here the places where there's mountains and places where there's trees cropping through the mountain views here. This is Grandma who's reminding me that you don't want to spend forever doing trees, or even anything for that matter, and that's why I like doing this kind of style. Now we're going through here, and I think what you don't want to do, you want to dab more than anything. So come up here, get the ridges, maybe draw along the ridge, come up and do that part there, and then kind of dab, let the colors kind of spread through there. Up here the same, kind of dab through there. So these pinks, we don't want to destroy the pinks, but so we'll do them first, but kind of get them in with a royal blue color here, and we don't want it overpowering our picture, so I hope we didn't put too much pigment in there. And now we're going to bring some of those pinks down in these formations of this kind of pink rock in the sun that we've got here on that side, and we'll come down on this side, bring that down into the trees, not trying to bring green up into there, but Grandpa is a clumsy guy, so he can't help himself. But he is having fun. So thank you. Let's do the other thing I'm finding right now. I think is a good general rule when you have pinks or yellows, and you're going to add those to some blues in the mountain landscapes. Do the pinks and yellows first, and then come back and catch the blues in. Otherwise, sometimes the blues can overpower your pinks, and you won't want both those colors in your pictures. Right, so I'm trying to give you an example of that here. Okay, so we got most of the second part done. Now what we want to do is color in our trees a little bit, and around the post where this bird is sitting, our brown-headed cowbird, and then the very completion of this will be coming back to the cowbird and adding a little bit more detail. Okay, so I think that's kind of fun so far. So what we're going to do here is add just a little bit more detail to the cowbird. And just a few strokes here at the end and around our bird here. Make him look more feathery, and to highlight our little bird here, we've completed our third stage by adding a few more line strokes in here to the picture. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.